Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right. This is Your Impact Attack. It's a show for the people, by some people. And those people are the VBC. We are the VBC. Collectively together, we do this every Monday night. And who are they? Who are we? We are the VBC, the V. Hello, the vet, Jamie Williams. With me as always, tag team partner, the B, Brandon. Tagging him in with the magic of the internet for the hot tag. Brandon, what is going on?
Not a whole lot. Just got done doing some Raw watch along, which was pretty much like it is every week. Not really eventful, but we're having a good time hanging and chilling like we're having a good time hanging and chilling tonight with who was the C
The,
tonight?
the C. The C is the chat. And we are always looking to kick it off with a four horse people in the chat if we can. Do we have the four?
Not quite yet, but
Damn.
I'm sure we will get there shortly. Tonight, right now, we got Liz, we got Lab Rat, and we got Javi Hoochie. Ha! Always good to see you guys. And I'm sure we'll
All
be
right.
getting.
We got a shield. We got a shield of, of the chat here. That's pretty good too. They went undefeated for a long time. So
Yeah, amazing how good booking actually protects a group and gets it over.
that's right. So, in any case, you know, how are we doing tonight? What any big events yesterday or anything going on? I don't really recall.
To be honest, I completely skipped the Super Bowl as a whole. I was more worried about work and taking care of some stuff at home and then getting ready for HMG after dark.
That's right. Is that one of the busiest days?
Oh, yeah. Also, one of my favorite days of the year, too, because like we know it's busy, so we're prepared and ready for it, and it just runs so smoothly.
What
It's
would you
as it,
say? What would you say are the top three of the year?
easily Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, and Halloween.
Oh, really? Halloween, huh?
Yep.
Interesting. Um. So yeah. I don't know. I was asleep. I didn't really watch. Watch the Super Bowl. Who has time for Super Bowls? Um. But we'll see what. We'll see how many people watched. Uh. When we get some numbers, we might already have some overnights, but that was a big thing that went on yesterday because you know there was a WWE superstar Bad Bunny, I guess, was performing the halftime show to the consternation of some. It's a whole lot of rampant chatter about that whole situation.
Yeah, as Liz said earlier during the Raw watch along, apparently he covered more yards than the Patriots did.
he probably did. He probably did. And that also sparked a little bit of a thing between the brothers Paul, I guess. Supposedly I saw a couple tweets that and I'm only mentioning this because there's just such nothing to talk about.
But over under, this leads to a WrestleMania match between Logan Paul and Bad Bunny. I mean, come on.
It could, but the problem is Logan Paul was the one defending Bad Bunny to his brother Jake.
Yeah, but you could easily turn that into an angle of, hey, come on to the show. I want to have an interview with you and talk with you or something like that. And then he just ends up sucker punching him, and you go from there.
This whole thing was an elaborate setup to get a WrestleMania match.
I
Yeah.
mean, is that not where they would go with that?
They might. They don't. I don't ever. I've never listened to Impulsive ever. Barely clips, and usually the clips would be like something that WWE would show. But I don't think he's ever really run any angles on there, has he?
I don't think so. No, it's pretty much been a straight up just a shoot show.
Right, and which you know, that's kind of like, mm, I don't know if I'd start now if he was going to do it, but perhaps they could do something where, I don't know, tag team match. I don't know. They could team up. The best he could join the Vision. I was about to say the system, so I forgot what show I'm talking about.
Well, and you already have a tag team partner for Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, so there you go.
Right. So yeah, you know. Um. So a bunch of stuff happened, but I don't really have any uh, thoughts on it.
There's the
Oh,
fourth.
Dan is the fourth horseman.
What's up,
Um.
Dan? Good to see you, pal.
I know he's devastated that you know the Seahawks came away with the Lombardi Trophy last night. But he's gonna have to admit that they were lucky to even be there. The shell of the Patriots team he spent the last quarter of a century loving. Um, uh, and I know it's longer than that, but they haven't been good for longer than that. So, anyways, let's see. What do we want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? We don't really have much. We don't really have much in the way of news of like major news here. So the only thing I got, and we don't have a Chris Winland question that I'm aware of. The only thing I really got is some ratings news for TNA, according to Programming Insider, by way of WrestleNomics and that other Brandon that's out there in the wrestling space, Brandon Thurston.
Thurston
Um,
Hell.
Thurston Howell the third. He so according to this data, the February 5th edition, which we're going to talk about, drew an average of 241,000 viewers, up
That's
20%.
I'm sure TNA and AMC got to be thrilled about that.
They have got to be thrilled about that.
And these are tape shows.
These are tape shows, and they sucked. That's the important part. I've never seen shows this bad climb in the ratings. Well, maybe a little bit. Um, but yeah, so we're looking at debut episode 173,000, follow-up episode 171,000, previous week 201,000, this week 241,000. So it did drop a little bit that second week, but then from there it's continued to climb, and not necessarily incrementally, actually
Yeah,
quite, substantially.
yeah, that's what was the this past Thursday and then the week before the jump?
It was a jump of uh 30,000, or like, yeah, 30, no, yes, 30,000 from 2 weeks ago, last week, and then last week to this week was 40,000.
So that's like 5-7%,
Mm.
I think. Or am I getting my let me
Well,
let me get Meltzer and the mathematician on.
it's the from 200 to 240 is 20% according to.
Oh yeah. That 200 240. Oh yes, yeah, that is 20%.
Yeah, and 171 to 201 is a little less than 20%. So that's the important thing. You want to increase, of course, your overall viewership. Um Even though, like, when there's small fluctuations in the viewership by like a few thousand, that really doesn't paint much of a picture. But if you see these big gains week after week, then that means that for whatever reason the word of mouth is spreading, and then when people are actually going to check out the show, then they're sticking around for it.
And not only that, telling their friends, and they're
Yeah.
tuning in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that that's like you said, AMC should be happy with that. Now they're getting to that now they're getting closer to that number that some people were hoping or projecting that they might get, around the 300,000 range. Um but I have to admit I'm shocked because I just don't see what people I don't see what people would be sticking around for. I have no idea what, if I had to point to something that they're doing on these shows, I couldn't tell you like, well, what got them? What was the thing that got them? I could not tell you.
Yeah, the only way you'd be able to figure that out is if you get the actual minute by minutes and see what they were tuning in for.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm absolutely shocked. So,
Still good for them. Good for them.
yeah. Let's good. Well, what I'm happy for is the people that are working there, you know. So I want things to succeed for them.
Yeah,
So,
them being successful overall is a good thing.
yeah. Well, as Dan points out, Nielsen changed their methodology in September that destroyed ratings for wrestling. At the end of January, they made another adjustment that has improved the ratings. Um, yeah, well, I mean, the only source that we have to go by is them. And when you have a when that that's essentially I find that to be like like a conflict of interest somewhat when you're the only one that can verify your own thing and saying, "Oh yeah, no, we made adjustments and this is happening and this is how we do it, this methodology," even though no one knows the methodology or understands the methodology, and it's your own proprietary methodology, right? So it's like McDonald's being like, "No, our food is good. You just come in and buy it. Don't worry."
Now our chicken nuggets now made with real chicken meat. And what was I eating before?
Yeah. Um. So yeah, there's that, but we've seen, but we've also seen, a bigger jump in AEW ratings as well. So there's something to that because they were getting some kind of lower ratings, and now they're back up in the sixes. You know, so
Yeah, that is a good point. If it's happening across the board, then that definitely makes sense.
However,
SmackDown, that's a little bit different.
yeah, SmackDown finally got up over 1 million again. So maybe that, maybe that really is across the board then. I mean,
Oh shit, I didn't hear that. No, I thought they went lower. I thought they're still hovering around 900,000.
no, they were back up over. They got like a 1.2 or something recently. I heard. I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was for this past Friday or the previous Friday, but they were up again. And you know, for that, I can if I was to say, well, why would SmackDown be up besides just the Nielsen adjustments, which, that just looks like that's probably what it is for everybody. It's not necessarily the content. It's probably just the adjustments. But Um, if when I look at SmackDown, I see some things like, okay, so I like how they've got a, they bring in the new people like Trick Williams. We were able to witness sort of the growth of Trick Williams from, just the sidekick to being like a main event player, and I think he's transferred that well over to SmackDown.
He's got he is a star. He is a main event level player just waiting to happen.
Yeah, which I don't think was a concern for us, but it's always the concern of like, well, is the office going to agree? Even though they're the ones that hired him and they're the ones that trained him and they're the ones that should have the most vested interest in making this guy a star, we still have to wonder, are they going to do it? So it looks like they're on the right track. But
I mean, he's shining every chance he gets.
that's right.
Every time he's on that mic, he kills it.
Lemon pepper steppers. Yeah. So, yeah, but back to TNA, on the other hand, I'm not seeing anything that would be like, it would be indicative of this sort of like growth over time. So I guess we should probably just get into that and see if we can figure out what the people saw that we didn't see. And so, of course, we're going to start with the traditional. That's right. It's ketchup packet.
Although I have a confession to make. When I make
Uh-oh.
spaghetti, I use Hunt sauce. It's just it's what I grew up on, and I'm stuck with it.
It's a spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, they're a basil and herb.
Okay. Well, can't comment on that. Just all I know is their ketchup isn't good. That's all I can say. Maybe they use a different set of tomatoes. I don't know. But anyway, we got the ketchup packet, and then we get Ariana joining commentary for our first match, which is Trey Miguel versus Adam Brooks. Remember Adam Brooks?
I mean, I know I've heard the name, and I knew he made an appearance in TNA before, but
Yeah, he's the guy that looks like they left Hammerstone in the dryer too long. That's basically what he looked like. You don't remember him.
Now that you say that, yes, I do.
Yeah. And I think he did. I think because he's Australian. I think it was when. I think we probably saw him when. Remember when they went to Australia and Piers Austin was there and all this stuff. Remember that? I think that's when we saw him. I think.
Yep. Now I remember. Now I remember.
That makes sense. But other than that, he's all right. Trey Miguel. So interestingly, I know I'm going to tell you later to check out, Limpin' Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore. But he made an interesting point about, we were talking about the Trey Miguel thing and the AEW thing and why he might be gone from there. And he brought up an interesting point that Trey Miguel used to date Alicia Atout for like 6 years.
So it could have been MJF kind of getting in Tony's ear.
Well, yeah, because you have to think of like, we already talked about like why Zachary Wentz, why does Hitler Youth get to stay, and Trey has to go. So it's like you could kind of just connect some dots there. Not I don't know that to be true. Again, neither does he, but he does just bring up that point of like if you've got somebody that's going to be in the workplace that The only pushback I have on the idea is this is like, well, damn, if you couldn't have somebody that you used to date or that used to date your ex working in a place that you work, then the pro wrestling business wouldn't have any employees. You know, they pass people around there. So I just, but then again, not everybody is at the main event level where they could call some shots like that. And I could definitely see that being like, you know, but I also would have rather, let people know ahead of time. Like let's say if I caught wind of like the Rascals getting signed, I'll be like, well, I don't want Trey Miguel to work here, so before you do anything, let's not make him look stupid. Let's just not hire Trey Miguel, you know. So, um, so they were able to. Luckily, if you dig into almost anybody's past, you're gonna be able to find probably something that you can use as an excuse. But I can't, you know, it's the idea that anybody would date this guy. It's funny that the homophobia thing was a. It's funny the homophobia thing was a thing that he, whatever he was doing back and forth with that fan or whatever on Twitter or whatever happened. I didn't actually look into, but
I think if I remember correctly, I think it was David Starr. Remember that dude?
yeah, yeah.
And then
Okay,
he was
so
like, yeah, he was one of those dudes about like, let's say, really far left and liberal. And then it turns out he ended up getting ousted in the speaking out as somebody who did that. And as soon as that came out, he disappeared off the face of the earth.
right, exactly. Yeah, what? But yeah, I just it's I just let's just say I don't picture Trey Miguel as the picture of masculinity, anyways. Like if you told me anything about Trey Miguel, I'd probably believe you. So I just thought that was ironic and funny, but he's up to his old ways because he's over the blowing a kiss at Ariana Grace at the commentary desk during this match. I don't know if you caught that, but and she was making the face just like, which is again I can't believe he dated Alicia too for 6 years because that's the face I think anybody would make if Trey Miguel was trying to, you know, um,
And that makes me wonder: is that a rib on the whole thing with him and Alicia?
could be.
It
Uh,
is the wrestling business. That's always on the table.
it's always on the table. So, anyways, he hits a lightning spiral on Adam Brooks, and then Stax comes in with a belt shot right after, and not only a belt shot, but the deadly belt hold. But it didn't matter. It didn't freeze him in place because he was already knocked out from the belt shot, so it was kind of pointless. I don't think Stax understands the power of the belt hold. Really, I don't think he's fully gets it. But Ariana's upset, and she's like complaining, like, "Why'd you do that?" So she's still being remorseful about what she did. Her vicious heel turn of kicking her father on the balls and then immediately being sorry about it, I guess. And we're just gonna go, we're just gonna go in a different direction. So it's a weird 180 they did, but if you remember, I was complaining that I'm tired of these turns. I'm tired of these turns that would never happen. You're not gonna turn on your father. You're not. I don't care how many birthdays he missed or whatever. It's just like you're not gonna kick your father in the balls for real in real life. That's not gonna happen. That's only wrestling bullshit, and you shouldn't do that. Um, it's already bad enough they're trying to say, oh yeah, it's Ariana Grace, not Ariana Morella or whatever. It's just like we have to sit through that bullshit, but then we have to sit through a turn, a kick in the balls, all this stuff, and then a couple weeks later, she's like, "I'm sorry," you know.
Although I think I might know where they're end up going with this, especially with a match that ends up getting made for what's the next pay-per-view coming up?
No surrender.
No Surrender.
Yeah, yeah. I
Well,
mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this is all just a long game part of the turn where she just pretends to make up with her dad so she can get what she wants and stuff like that. It's like that seems like the more likely option. But then again, even as a storytelling device, that sucks because then you just make your character look wishy-washy so that you do another turn, so it cheapens the first turn. It's like, why not just slowly build up to this turn? Like, you know.
Like you could do the thing where Ariana finally like she gets remorseful and reunites with her dad, but that's after a long period of time as the heel with Stax. And that
Right.
character's been developed and it's trying to run its course.
I think it's already run its course. But anyways, so that's that. Now we get the Indie Warriors with Gia, no music underneath. They do a promo where apparently Indy Hartwell understands Chinese. So, yeah. Great. They're going to have a match later. Next match, Righteous versus Tommy Two Scoops and TW3.
2 scoops of whoop.
That sounds like a good catchphrase for you. I don't know if this guy's got that catchphrase, but this guy just looked. If you guys didn't see this, I don't know how to describe this guy. It's kind of like a boiled egg, I guess, with a singlet. Um, like one of the brown ones, the brown eggs, you know?
Oh, the organic ones?
Yeah, yeah, it was more like that. Um, and the other guy, TW3, had like half a pink mohawk. So I don't know. He kind of looks like if BDE like actually was in the gym. Like he kind of looks like he would look like this guy, but uh, still not very big, but bigger than BDE. BDE is kind of like cheeseburger, and this guy's like 8 cheeseburgers. So,
Get me Big Mac, pal.
yeah, I mean they're over with me. They're more over than the Righteous by far. Like I can't. I would get so much more out of 2 scoops and BW3. I think if I were suddenly handed the pencil here. But the match itself wasn't long enough for ice cream to melt. So, don't get used to these guys. Don't get too attached. And despite the fact that the crowd started chanting 2 scoops, 2 scoops, he was not able to rally. He wasn't able, like how Hogan would like reach out for the fans and use their strength to Hulk up. Like he wasn't able to do that in order to save his tag team partner. So they lost, and as Dutch's fat stomach is laying on the guy, like he pinned him and never got off him. You remember this? He never got off of BW3. Excuse me, not Buffalo Wild Wings. He never got off of TW3 while Vinny
lift off.
Yeah, Vinny cut the promo, like whatever his promo about. We don't want to go to war with the Hardys, man. Like you got a fat guy laying on you the whole time. And so I'm sure he was just like, hurry up.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, not but that was that. What'd you think? You see any promise in 2 scoops or T-Dub?
Dude, the fact that the developmental guys or the enhancement guys got over with the crowd, obviously there's something there. And if I'm TNA, I'm like, okay, let's give these guys some more work and let's see if we can get something out of it, and see if we can use these guys long term.
Tommy Two Scoops. They chanted. They chanted. I could see. I could see them doing a long Barry Horowitz. You know, where he finally gets one win. But I don't think, as long as it would take, like if I were running that angle, as long as it would take for him to get that one win, I don't think they would keep re-signing him for that length.
No, yeah,
It would have to be like 5 years.
Oh,
I
speaking
don't
of
think they
Barry,
can give him a 5 year deal. He'll get a longer deal than Moose. He'll sign a longer deal than Moose just so that they could do that one Barry Horowitz angle.
speaking of
So,
Barry Horowitz, you know where he's undefeated at?
where's that?
TNA.
I guess that's right, huh?
Yeah, he had that one match against Johnny Swinger, and then he was asked, "But hey, you want to come back next weekend for another match?" He's like, "I think I'm good retiring here undefeated."
Yeah. Good old Barry Horowitz. We definitely covered that match. Well, TNA can't afford the ice cream to feed Tommy during the chance, Lara says. Well, yeah, the other Tommy's just going to be eating it along with Fat Eddie, so.
Oh, Sammy's not back there anymore, so that I'm sure that cleared up a lot of the catering budget.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, with those three there now, but even, I think really what it looks, it's like more room for the other two. You
So
know,
you get his half, I'll get his half.
yeah, exactly. Like Eddie and Dreamer are so happy now that unless he is like staying on as a producer or agent or something like that, in which case he's still going to be eating stuff then. So I don't know. We don't talk about him, but I thought that was what he was going to do when he retired, right? Didn't he say that? Or didn't somebody say that off screen? Well, Bear Bronson, that's a good point, Lab. Bear Bronson also. He's not as fat as those other guys, though. He's more thick.
Okay, so apparently, hang on. So according to Google AI, he is the current TNA director of live events.
I don't even know what.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. From everything I'm seeing, he does just to be working backstage.
All right. Well, then the ice cream's not safe. So, the Hardys can't beat the system, Brandon. They were trying to sit there and be confused about the righteous and saying we moved past that, and then they just got jumped by the fat system, and well, they're all fat now.
Fat Eddie, Fat Bear, Fat
Cedric,
Fat
Myers.
They're all fat, pal. They're fat.
They're fat. That's right.
They think like Moose like Jeff's like a man's like a Twinkie or something, like a cheeseburger.
Yeah. 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 Well, more on them later. Frankie Kazarian. Oh,
it
sorry.
seems like Hardys need some partners, and the Righteous are offering themselves, but more on that later.
More on that later. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Apparently, 241,000 people stayed tuned. So Frankie Kazarian shakes hands with Daria backstage in a cinematic vignette sort of thing right before he goes out to cut a promo on the stage and explain how that very hand he was shaking with had been surgically repaired before his last two major matches, and so they really shouldn't have counted because he was literally a one-armed man. Yada yada yada. Get some heat. Then Elijah music hits and he just walks right past Kazarian to his match, which that's going to be him. It's going to be Jada Stone taking on Tasha Steelz and Mustafa Ali. And then we got ourselves a mixed tag match where I'm pretty sure that they do sort of intergender matches in TNA, but this one was sort of treated like an intergender match. I was confused.
Admittedly, I don't remember much out of this other than I was very impressed with Jada Stone. She's obviously green, has a lot of, needs to get the reps in, but the tools are there and she obviously has the right training and gets it.
Yes. Well, it was obvious to me from watching this that this thing was designed to sort of get her more over, to showcase, because and it seemed to be working. Uh I thought the way they laid it out did a decent job of it. Mm, so that it was obvious what the point of the match was. Somebody goes over, somebody gets over.
Right? It was, and she took the pin, right?
Yes, but it was still an angle, kind of.
Cool. So yeah, so that was actually done very well.
Yeah, basically, well, there were some things about it I would have done differently, of course, but it all kind of starts with, well, first they give her some shine as well, like to start the match, but then there comes a point where Agent Zero gets Elijah and gives him like a slam on the apron to kind of take him out for a while. So then it becomes a thing of like, well, all that's left is Jada Stone, and here we have the whole Order 4 around the ring. So she then proceeds to have to beat up the entire Order 4 herself, basically. Everybody except Agent Zero has to take some bumps for Jada Stone here.
Yeah, that was where they could have shortened the match and kind of made some different shortcuts. Like you could have done that where you could have had Agent Zero take out Elias, and then the ref sends them all to the back. But then because Elias is taken out, that leaves her, and then they work heat, build to the hot tag with Elias.
All right, that would have been better. But then again, it's in when it's in the when you're working an intergender match, it's hard for you to get heat because your hot tag is like there's no they always do it wrong. Like when they do an intergender match with a hot tag, they always do it the same way you would do it in a normal match, where there's like both people are racing to their corner to tag, which the only person that matters that tags in the mixed tag match is the baby face, because the other gender has to get in the ring. The other gender has to get in the ring once the tag is made anyways. So it's like if you're the heel crawling towards the hot tag for your side of the thing, then the moment you tag, that's as soon as the baby face can get in the ring. Not you see what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of not explaining it very well, but because I keep assuming everybody understands like what I'm already saying, but if the heels tag in, that's like tagging in the baby face, because
right. So the work should be heels preventing the babyface from tagging in to force the other person in.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, what was it? The babyface trying to fight to make the tag, the heel trying to stop the tag, and then eventually like an enziguri or a push off or something, and then hit it.
Yeah. Yeah. Never bump. Thank you, Hammer. I knew you'd get it. But yeah, you don't want to bump your heel before the hot tag. Then you take a bump away from the hot tag. You take a bump away from the comeback. So whatever it is, they don't do it right. But this whole match was confusing. So and when I say confusing, I don't mean for us to watch. I mean if to try to lay all this out and remember it. Like there was a lot of stuff they did that had to. You probably definitely had to walk through this a few times because it was complicated. But I think the point is, once Ollie finally catches up with catches up with Jada Stone and gives her the highwayman's farewell. I think at that point we've got the idea that like, okay, Jada Stone is somebody to watch. So mission accomplished there, but you also got a little bit of heat on her. Um so and Jada Stone needed that, Brandon, because like you remember they did the whole thing with Mila Moore where she was the one that got signed or whatever, and not the, so, but then after that it's been all Mila Moore and the Diamond Collective thing and all this, and Jada's just been sitting there, and Jada's only looked like shit, she looked like shit last week when we talked about it, you know.
And plus the Knockouts division, it needs new, fresh talent that's booked strong and built.
Yeah. So all right, well, even though I didn't like particularly care for the match, love the match or whatever, but I think the objective of the match was accomplished. So,
Right, yeah. Yep.
So here's the part where it's daddy-daughter time, and she's venting to daddy about, all the stuff and the things, and she ends up guilting him into giving her a title match.
This is it. And this is where I think they're hot shotting the whole thing, where it's all the work and it's going to be her over doing something dirty to get the Knockouts title, and you get the power couple stacks and Ariana.
Mm-hmm.
That's the quotation mark, but that's what they're going to try to sell it. But yeah.
So Daria has the task of giving us the no surrender matches, and as she runs down the card, but she's standing in front of that shitty rolling door in the background with the lights on it, hashtag turn off the lights. And I'm just like, how unprofessional looking this is, like
you couldn't find a better part of the building. You couldn't set up like a trusses and curtains and do something and put up like just something. I mean,
does building not have an office?
I mean, I know, right? I mean, it's like a pretty decent size, venue, arena. I shouldn't say arena, or small arena.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it's got an office in it. Just clear off that desk and just have her sit there with her hands on the desk and say the matches. It's fucking stupid. These people are stupid. Anyways, yeah, she runs down the thing, and then Santino comes in and is like, oh yeah, also my daughter is going to have a match with Lei Ying Lee for the Knockouts title. She's like, what?
One time the heel is correct, because she's like calling out a clear case of nepotism.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And also, she sees Burt Macklin over there and off to the side. She's like, what is he doing here? Get him out of here. And at first we think she's being a jerk because he's just saying goodbye to his friends. But then, so after Burt says goodbye to, shakes hands with his little buddies, like hometown man and stuff, then Santana's over there, and he goes and Santana has a nice talk with him, and they, seem like, okay, all right, tearful goodbye here. Macklin has a tearful goodbye. In the camera, he's like he's got the single tear, rolling and talking to Santana and everything, and then on his way, like he's about to go out the door, they just turns around and attacks Mike Santana after they just had a nice moment. It's like complete 180. Yeah, didn't see it coming, but not in a good way. Because one, nobody would act like that again. Two,
shouldn't he immediately be grabbed by police and removed from the premises for assaulting an employee?
I think they tried. But the other thing is, now you just justified a heel manager again. Like, to your point about her being upset about the nepotism thing. So you just made her right about that, but that could go somewhere. But this now you made her look like you made her look like she's some sort of a prescient like oh this guy's a piece of trash. I want him out of here, and he is a piece of trash. He should be out of here.
And he made Santino look inept for letting that happen. Like that was his call to let that happen.
Yep. So I don't know if they have like a grand plan for all this business that they're doing here, but
Like I could see this going somewhere and making sense, but do I trust him to do so? Not really.
yeah, they're probably just gonna say, "Hey, I want you to unfire." Santana's gonna say, "I want you to unfire Steve Macklin so I could have a wrestling match with him." No. I don't know, man. Two
One of
hundred
the
forty-one thousand though. It's 241,000 they got. So what do we know? Well, I guess the truth will tell like the next week. We'll see. I guess because the next week's ratings are really for this past week, right? So Tessa Blanchard is gonna make her AMC debut. Like anybody cares about that, but not Tessa. I don't mean Tessa Blanchard. I just mean like what is an AMC debut? Who cares? There's a lot of people that have yet to make an AMC debut. But she's here against somebody named Rachel Leigh. Um, Obviously you know what this is. Not even what we're talking about.
Yep, just a way to introduce the new viewers to Tessa Blanchard, and that's about it.
That's it. Gimmick injury report. I say this with only a modicum of glee. It's not really what it used to be.
I will say at least they were smart enough to split up the Tessa match and the Righteous match.
Yeah. So Rich Swann and AJ Francis, after their violent match against each other, are both cleared. They'll be fine. Jada Stone, as of a few minutes, is in evaluation, but even though she's in evaluation, Tom Phillips or whatever his name is on the voiceover said listed in serious condition. Listed where? On by who?
And what is that condition? Where is she hurt?
It's serious. It's not critical, and it's not. Anyway, but we got to talk about Ash by Elegance because now that she's back,
better than ever.
Yeah, she's got a knack for making things way fucking worse. But apparently they ran a battery of tests on her, and the Bioflex medical team ran a battery of tests on her, and they're like, whatever that mysterious thing was that you had to retire about, it's not there anymore. You're cured. And so she's cleared. Guess that's the important thing. So that's good. Not really. You know what else is not really good? Ryan Ziegler and Mara Sade play sports. It's like a battle of the sexes thing. Now, again, it's if I just sit here and say, if I try to gloss over this and just say like this is corny, I really think I'm understating it. But I also feel like if I cut a promo on it, it's giving it too much. I'm dignifying it too much. So like I'm trying to find the appropriate level of gloss over. What did you think of this vignette about them playing football, darts, and basketball?
Uh, appreciate the effort, but just did not quite hit the mark. Like, I appreciate the effort of creativity and effort going into like shooting this and producing and editing it, but it just was not quite there.
That's very diplomatic. I'll accept that answer. EY and BDE. Uh, EY tries to recruit BDE for whatever's coming. This cleanse thing. And I'm thinking as I'm watching this, you already know where this, even if you didn't see this, you would know where it goes. The good guy's not going to join the bad guy, right? This is what went through my mind. And we'll see how you feel about it. I'm thinking BDE is the kind of person that we're talking about that needs to get cleansed. Because he's an outsider. He's a social media influencer. He's another wannabe wrestler. As a shoot and as a work. And I would think that Eric Young, whatever he's talking about, cleansing TNA or whatever, this would be like a prime candidate for who needs to get cleansed, not who needs to join his team. Am I off base?
I was gonna say I was actually about to say the opposite. Have actually put him with Eric Young. But the problem with Eric Young is we've seen how many cult gimmicks he's led in the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, obviously we are done with Eric Young and cults, but I'm just thinking of of all the people you're trying to get to your side, it's the YouTuber. Who is he cleansing then?
Think about it, but wouldn't he want his following and audience to get his message across?
That makes sense if you put it in that context, but
they're
that's
not
not
getting
how it's coming across here.
Right. Yeah, if we would have had some like vignettes or something or a cameraman just catching Eric Young, be like, if I can get BDE to join me, then I get that okay. We have something there, but they never shot anything with that.
Well, Labyrinth says he wants the fans to take a shower, so I don't know how BDE is going to help that, but I don't know. I guess I misunderstood what the cleanse was supposed to be about.
Apparently
Because he started this as like a resistance to the NXT partnership. Like if you really go back and look at the origin of when he started doing this gimmick, it was like basically he's saying we're getting pushed off our own show. So I remembering that like an idiot, how dare I remember even the fucking stuff that I shit on. At least I remember what you were trying to do as a creative team or whatever, what story you were trying to get across. At least I had the decency to remember that. I was kind enough to remember it after you foisted it upon us. And now you can't even carry it through consistently. 241,000.
We're making numbers, Juicy.
I would definitely have, yeah, I would definitely have, since this is more like, another tinfoil hat, combination tinfoil hat, old man yelling at clouds thing. You would think that he would lump that in, like, look at this guy. You're not a wrestler. You're famous for doing nothing, like that kind of a thing. Like he should hate this guy. And he's sitting here like, why don't you come with me? Like, not even begrudgingly. but like it's a perfect, like he's a perfect candidate. And then it would even make sense if you explained it the way you said it, Brandon, but he didn't even do that. So, by the way, how many people do you think actually understand that the yelling at clouds is a Simpsons reference?
Old man yells at clouds.
Yeah. I don't think most people, I think most people just say that. They don't even remember that or know that.
Hey, look, an old man is talking. Do you ever hear the story about the time the lemon tree was planted in Springfield?
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways. Like telling long, boring stories that go nowhere.
We used to see you wear an onion on her belt.
It's
Couldn't
just a
get the
style at the
yellow one.
time.
Couldn't get the yellow ones, because of the war.
Speaking of yellow onions, Elegance brand. Because they are they the Elegance brand or are they the Breaking brand? Because they come out wearing the yellow hazmat suits from that famous show that takes place in New Mexico
And aired on AMC.
and aired on AMC. They still probably had to, those probably weren't real props or anything. They had to get it from Party City or something, but anyway, it's the Elegance brand versus the Indie Warriors. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't barely watch 1 second of this. I know I said, remember back when Indy Hartwell came in and she was they were building her up to be like the next coming. And I said, I'll watch her for a while and I will evaluate. I can stop, right? Like, I don't need to do that anymore. There's nothing really my point has been proven.
The fact that she's fallen down the card tells you all you need to know.
Okay. And I know everybody can't be at the top. I understand that. But, I mean, we had to sit through a lot of vignettes, a lot of promos.
I remember seeing, I think, if I remember correctly, did we see footage of her while working at Toys R Us sitting in the middle of an aisle while going through action figures?
I don't remember, but I'm going to take your word for it. Let us know if you remember that as well. Well, anyway, Zaya Brookside hits a European clutch on Heather and pins her, so that's good. And then they get heat back after that. They cash in their heat back briefcase and just get over.
So, assuming the next title defense for Lady Ying Lee is going to be Ash, considering the whole thing. Plus, you got the built-in story of Ash never lost it; she gave it up.
Yeah. Well, unless Ariana Grace is able to take it first.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot about that shit.
Already forgot. So Santana's doing a promo in the ring. He doesn't even have a chair. He's serious. And then he gets swarmed by the system. And then the Hardys hobble out to help him. And they're beaten up. Like the old men that they are. By the much fatter, younger men. And then Moose's music hits. And everybody looks to the entrance, waiting for Moose to come out. But the ring general tactician that he is, battle tactician that he is, Moose is already behind everybody. And then he waits for them to charge him on the apron. And then he kicks their asses. So I guess, the element of surprise wasn't needed. He could have just as easily came right out to them because he still didn't attack them until they ran at him anyway. So yeah, he beats them all up. Even though he couldn't beat Cedric in one match, he wiped them all out by himself. But I would just assume that he went into like a Moose-like rage. I don't know if Moose is rage.
He's moosing up, brother.
He's moosing up. He's stampeding. What does a moose do? Like what would you call it if a moose went berserk?
I think stampeding sounds pretty well. I mean, mooses are Canadian.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I don't know if they do it though. Did they ever herd up and like I don't know anything about Moose.
They might. Let me look that up.
Yeah, why don't you Google what moose actually do? But this moose stampeded on you know, the system, so there you go. That's how impact goes off the air.
I take that back. They're not usually forming herds or exhibit traditional large-scale stampede behavior. They're actually solitary animals that more likely stand their ground when individually threatened.
So what they're saying is moose should have never started the system in the first place. That's what they're saying. Like what we were saying, when we were enjoying the Moose Championship run.
Yeah, so it turns out moose are actually solitary creatures.
Well, I do know that they're massive and they will kill you.
Yeah, dude, don't fuck. As to say, I've seen some shit.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's it. That's Impact. That's 241,000 viewers with a .04 in the key demo. Actually, a .05. Excuse me.
Hey, you got to round up, pal. You got to round up.
Well, it was .04 the previous week, and they jumped up 25% to a .05. So those young people are watching, unless they're all 49.
Which, looking at the median age, they most likely are.
Yeah, young people, 18-year-olds. Why would you even have that as a saying? That's the other thing about those demographics. I don't understand why you would group something that wide. Like I would think 18 to 25 is a stretch, let alone 18 to 49. 18 has nothing in common with a 49-year-old. Nothing. It's a random weird number. 31 years difference. You know how much life you can live in like 5 years? 18-year-olds certainly ain't. They don't deserve to be in a demographic because statistically, most of them would probably still live with their parents. So why would you even, how are you even going to say like, oh yeah, well this person in this house watching this show, he's 18. How the fuck would you know that? Census?
Well, this many households, and then has this many people in them on the average, and this many children, and this age is.
Yeah, bullshit. A bunch of bullshit, basically.
Oh yeah, a mathematician told me. I talked to several mathematicians, and yeah, and the max numbers, and
That's right. Watch TNA Impact every week on HBO Max.
Oh, the TNA Plus numbers, and the AMC Plus numbers.
Yep. Yeah, are they counting that? Do we even know?
I don't think they are. No, I think it's like that plus those, but we don't know what those are. Much like the max numbers. But I gotta believe those got to be abysmal. Like they gotta be abysmal.
They probably are abysmal. They're probably abysmal. Like who's gonna watch an AMC app? Seriously. But
yeah, and the TNA app. Exactly.
Yeah, and the TNA app. But at least wrestling fans, you could think, might throw on a TNA app just to do it. And I would much more trust, other than Nielsen, I would much more trust, like, if I have an app on my phone, like I'm quite sure that they're spying on me with this, because everything I've even just said on this whole podcast has just been filtered into a bunch of like Chinese data collection stuff. So
hi FBI, hi CIA,
right.
Hi Mossad, hi whatever Chinese guys are watching this. What's up, y'all?
Right. That too. And mostly Mark Zuckerberg. So
oh, MI6, what's up, pal?
Yeah, all that. They like I could understand that if I own this device, they know how old I am. But I don't think Nielsen knows how old anybody they're counting is. No fucking way. So, any case, we'll see what happens next week with the numbers. We'll see if it goes up. We'll see if they can maintain this artificial boost from the Nielsen ratings. Because whether it's real, whether it's phony, whatever, the point is it's trending upwards, and upwards is the only important metric. So we'll see if they could go onwards and upwards from here as HMG goes onwards and upwards. Brandon, what are you going to be doing this week? Of course, kicking off the Raw watch along conclusion shortly.
Yeah, we'll be doing that in about 10 minutes. But as far as the rest of this week goes, tomorrow we have the late start NXT watch along that goes on the air as soon as the A show goes off the air. And then Wednesday we have the AEW Dynamite watch along and belt count. And then Thursday we have JCW Lunacy and TNA Impact watch along. And then Friday the SmackDown watch along and belt count. And this Saturday, we're actually taking the night off. We're actually getting kind of preempted for a special A show Valentine's Day show. But we will be back on Sunday for HMG Insanity, the new JCW Lunacy review show with myself and Jimmy T. And we'll probably do and to make up for it, make up for Saturday. We'll probably do a 8 AAA replay watch along. And then that's what we got. And of course, you always catch me on Twitter or as the kids call it these days, the X at LG Brandon Whoop. I'm also on Twitch, twitch.tv/LG Brandon Whoop Whoop.
Very good. You can catch me every social media platform is at Opinion Haver, so you don't have to keep any different names in mind. It's all one me. And you can check me out every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez, where we talk about NXT and how this partnership is not necessarily as fluid as it could be. You can catch me every Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for Wreckage with myself and Jimmy T. The professor's on assignment. But we'll talk about AEW and all of the goings on over there in that crazy land of misfits. Then I'm going to want you to check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers and go ahead and wish Rip Rogers a happy birthday if you forgot. 72 years old as of February 7th. So I'm sure he was celebrating TNA's big ratings win as well. But a lot of nice messages on the latest episode. A lot of birthday messages that Von Lilas is able to compile from people. Who knows? You may see a familiar face if you tune in to watch that episode of Wrestling with Rip Rogers on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Then Stevie Richards Show. I mean, come on, what do you say about Stevie Richards? Stevie Richards Show. Come on. They're moving up their schedule so that new episodes appear on Thursday instead of Friday. So be aware of that change. But again, if you have subscribed and hit the notification bell, it doesn't matter. You're going to know exactly when you could see the freshest Stevie Richards Show content, which they're putting out every single day in clip form. So if you don't feel like sitting and watching the whole thing, you can watch it in pieces, I guess, day by day. And of course, Lip It Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore, which I already mentioned. He's doing great on this new format. Short and sweet, but very insightful, very funny. Talking about things like The Undertaker and head of creative in AAA. And of course, the whole MJF Trey Miguel thing that we talked about earlier. So please give Timmy that follow and or subscribe and notification. And that should just about do it for us. So be sure to hang out again with the Raw Watch Along coming up very soon. For Brandon, I'm the vet, and I don't have a sign-off line.